Welcome back to Cursed Mining, and today we are discussing a quick build and why I needed yet another test bench because of absolute core clock. Let's start here. So generally, as you know, you can mix AMD and Nvidia cards and generations without problem, but sometimes you can encounter some weirdness. One example here is 10 series Nvidia with 20 series onwards if you want to use absolute core clock. I can showcase it on one of my rigs. It has my last 10 series card left at 1070 Ti, and the rest is newer. Absolute core clock does not work on 10 series cards, and I always felt it is playing weirdly with the other cards, while it seems that they are accepting the clock setting. The improvement did not seem as good as with other cards with that setting, and I cannot overclock any of the cards further without the whole rig crashing. So here we are. Why another test bench though? Well, everything is full in my place. My last test bench, which I built for this exact reason, now houses my 4GB cards. AMD rigs are at max, and of course it would not make sense to stuff it into yet another Nvidia rig. This is why I took it as a kick in my behind to create something by resurrecting some spare parts. Everything is used and old. The base is an i7 4790K Z97 board. Even though that is old, it can easily run at 4.5 GHz on 4 cores and 8 threads, so a bit of an overkill for a GPU test bench. And on the other hand, on older Intel chips, it's unfortunately not really worth it to hash Monero on the CPU. Ryzen has a clear advantage here. No matter though, overkill for a test bench, but I might sell it as a whole at some point later. The Corsair case was a luxury many years ago, but it has seen a rough life, let's say it like that. I still think it fits, and the RGB fans are from the very first generation. I'm skipping a lot here, as this is not really a PC building video, but you can find a lot more in-depth ones on building PCs and what parts to choose on the channel. Of course, I try to have it at least a little bit tidy. Stuff like using a modular power supply, which is a bit overpowered, and doing some cable management now means just I don't have to do it later. A not so shabby PC build out of parts which have been lying around here for years. So let's get the 1070 Ti in question out of the rig. So on this end we are done, in with it, and of course I'm still letting it mine, but we can now see if this was all for nothing regarding the absolute core clock. You see the before and the after. Better temperatures of course make sense because it's just one less card in the middle of it, but I could indeed finally tweak the rig further without it crashing. Before, I could not fine-tune it without it all going unstable. You can see now that on most cards I achieved more hash rate or less power. I feel that I could nail down some sweet spots further. So problem solved, and another test bench or maybe a used PC to sell further down the line when I figure the rig situation out here. Long story short, if you have mixed rigs, you saw that it worked fine before, but sometimes there are just some little things that bring in issues we might not think about. Also, one can never have enough mining PCs. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the more long-form content with the interviews on the channel too. Honestly, I myself learned a lot by making it, and I'm glad to switch it up every now and then. Please subscribe for weekly tech and crypto content. Happy mining, and bye!